As of now, the brother of the king no longer a prince. In a statement, Buckingham Palace announced His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew.
It's official, Prince Andrew has been stripped of his titles, his honours, and now even his home. Royal Lodge, the Grand Windsor estate he once defended like his last fortress, is no longer his sanctuary. The very walls that sheltered him for decades have become a symbol of his downfall. And right in the middle of this royal storm stands Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, caught between loyalty, survival, and reinvention. She recently sold her London townhouse, and the timing couldn't be more suspicious. Was it foresight or desperation? Did she sense the winds shifting, or did she simply misjudge how fast the storm would arrive?
His fall from grace is finally complete, stripped of everything, from his titles to his home. It is a remarkable and radical royal downfall.
Because make no mistake, what's happening now isn't just another royal headline, it's a generational turning point for the Yorks, a family once loved, now on the brink of being completely cut off from the royal world. For those who followed this saga from the start, buckle in. This isn't just about an eviction notice, it's about the unraveling of decades of quiet deals, hidden finances, and royal tolerance that finally ran out. Prince Andrew, the Queen's second son, once trusted, once untouchable, has now been reduced to just Andrew. And behind this decision is King Charles, moving with the cool precision of a man determined to protect the crown, even if it means dismantling his own brother's life.
But he believes that there is a very real possibility that both Fergie and Andrew could end up behind bars. Now, of course, the other book that came out was Virginia Giuffre's book in the last few weeks. That has kind of fueled the whole thing and brought it to a head.
The formal process to remove Andrew's remaining honours has begun. A notice to vacate Royal Lodge has been served, and with it, the chapter of royal privilege for the Duke of York closes. But to understand how we got here, you need to understand what Royal Lodge really represents. This wasn't just a house, it was a deal, one that raised eyebrows from the very start. Back in the early 2000s, Andrew secured a 75-year lease from the Crown Estate, paying a symbolic rent. He poured millions into renovations, turning it into a palatial retreat. On paper, it was all above board, but in reality, it was a rare arrangement, one that offered luxury without accountability.
Since he was born, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth, brother of the King, has been known as Prince Andrew, but no longer.
It's monumental what the King has done. He has acted almost with the determination of a medieval monarch.
Over time, that grand mansion became his sanctuary and a point of contention for everyone else. Because while Andrew lived in near royal comfort, his public role had vanished. Then there's Sarah Ferguson. Despite divorcing Andrew decades ago, she never left. She continued to live under that roof long after their daughters married, long after their public image faded. Why? Some say it was about family, staying close to Beatrice and Eugenie, maintaining a sense of unity. Others say it was about convenience.
I mean, to me, I look at that and I think that it's an attention seeker. Do you really think that King Charles is going to stop in his tracks and say,
actually,
yeah, you're going to get the exclusive. Today, it's all about you. So I'm annoyed by that. I think that there were some fair questions shouted at him, but
Royal Lodge offered privacy, protection, and a lifestyle few could afford. But beneath that, there was something deeper, a quiet understanding. For Fergie, being at Windsor kept her close enough to royalty to stay relevant, but distant enough to operate independently. It was a delicate balance, one she managed masterfully for years. After their divorce, Sarah worked tirelessly to rebuild herself, writing books, supporting charities, dabbling in television projects, but living at Royal Lodge gave her what no PR campaign could: proximity to power.
I also think that there's an arena where those questions can be asked and the King can offer his reaction to it.
I'm not sure shouting at an elderly man is a good look,
with
generally.
Cancer.
And it's like people shouting during, the Queen's funeral and shouting at Prince Andrew when he was behind the coffin.
It made her royal adjacent, a role that kept her brand alive. Now all of that is collapsing, because as of today, Andrew, the brother of the King, is no longer a prince. Buckingham Palace confirmed that His Majesty has initiated the formal removal of his titles and styles. It's not symbolic anymore, it's final. And Sarah's decision to sell her townhouse just as this announcement hit the headlines? That's no coincidence. On one hand, it could be strategy, freeing up cash, preparing for independence. On the other, it could be reaction, a scramble to reposition herself as the walls close in. Either way, she's at a crossroads.
In separating his brother Andrew from all elements of title and style that normally people who are born into the royal family keep.
The Windsor estate may no longer welcome her. A move to a smaller property nearby could be possible, but under heavy scrutiny. The more likely path? Complete separation, a move into private life, perhaps a new London base or even somewhere abroad. Because this moment, this eviction, This stripping away of royal comfort might finally push her to step out of Andrew's shadow once and for all. For years, Fergie's loyalty seemed unshakable. She defended Andrew, lived beside him, co-parented their daughters, and maintained a quiet domestic alliance.
It's a much bigger, darker story than just who's going to live where. And if you have read the book written by Andrew Lowney called Entitled, he goes through, he put 4 years of work into this. He's meticulous in his research.
But now those old incentives, the status, the protection, the privilege are fading fast. Staying means risk. Leaving means rebirth. Royal Lodge once represented stability, but today it represents scrutiny. If she chooses to move out, it could become the defining act of her new chapter, a chance to present herself not as a royal relic, but as a woman who survived the crown's cold purge, and yet not everyone believes she's as innocent or as blindsided as she appears. Some insiders claim Sarah held certain leveraged secrets she kept close, stories that could have complicated the royal narrative. Others whisper that she and Andrew were united in their silence, bound not by love, but by mutual protection. But now that Andrew has lost everything, his honors, his home, his identity, that alliance may no longer serve her. And there's more. The fallout doesn't just affect Andrew and Sarah. Their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are reportedly devastated. They've built their own lives, careers, families away from royal spotlight, but seeing their father stripped of everything so publicly, so swiftly, reportedly left them blindsided. Because make no mistake, the York family name has always been fragile. And now, with this eviction and the loss of titles, the Yorks face a new kind of exile, not from the country, but from royal relevance itself. As the palace prepares for Andrew's departure from Royal Lodge behind closed doors, negotiations are already unfolding. The Crown Estate will manage the transition, determining how long he has, what repairs must be done, and whether any compensation will be offered. But this time, Andrew has no leverage left. For the first time, the institution holds all the cards, and Sarah, her clock is ticking. She has to decide stay in the ruins of a fading dynasty or rebuild her life elsewhere. Her public brand has shifted countless times from scandal to redemption, from duchess to author to influencer. But this is different. This is the moment she either breaks free or fades with Andrew. Because after years of living in his orbit, Sarah now has a chance to redefine herself completely, not as the ex-wife of a disgraced prince, but as a survivor of royal politics. She could reinvent herself, move into private accommodation, and build her brand around independence rather than proximity. For the first time in decades, she could stand entirely on her own. But make no mistake, this separation will be emotional, messy, and very public. The palace will control the narrative, the tabloids will twist every move, and the York sisters will try to navigate the fallout quietly. And yet, there's something poetic about it all. Royal Lodge, the home that once symbolized privilege and permanence, has become the very thing that forces them all to evolve. Andrew no longer a prince, Sarah no longer sheltered, the York family no longer protected. And maybe that's the point. Because in the monarchy's new era, an era defined by accountability and image, even bloodlines can't buy immunity. So the question now is simple. Where does Sarah Ferguson go from here? Does she retreat into privacy, build her own empire, and finally step out of the Windsor shadows? Or does she cling to what's left of a royal identity that the crown itself is erasing piece by piece? One thing's certain, this isn't the end of the York story. It's just the moment where the curtain falls on one life, and maybe if she's brave enough, opens on another. Let me know in the comments, do you think Sarah will finally walk away from Andrew and start anew?